Nation.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. DNVR Buffs Prime Time presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. And he's back. Matt McChesney back on the show. Welcome back, brother.
How's everyone today?
Fantastic, bro.
We are great.
Happy Thursday. Always a good day when I'm down here.
Always great to have you.
I love coming down here, man. This place is the shit.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yep.
That we do. That we do.
Apparently, this game is being played in Wyoming.
Yes. Everyone pack up. We're headed to Yellowstone.
Can you believe how dumb? Look.
Yes, I can. Listen, can you bring up?
I mean, I know it's a private school, but damn.
Yep.
We're not in Wyoming. It's a completely different state.
It wasn't that long ago, right, where they got exposed for allowing people to pay their way into school. That was like a couple of years ago.
Right.
Like, what's their justification for this? Are they just like trying to play it off as it's ha-ha, funny?
Yeah.
Well, you're not playing Wyoming, though. You're playing Colorado. Like, they're not intentionally trying to
As I
offend,
said there.
But they are.
As I said, if Caleb's going to Wyoming, they better move that line. 21 and a half is way too many.
Wyoming's pretty good. Shit, they might give them a run.
Yep. That tweet blew up way more than I ever would have expected. That has like almost 9,000 likes on it.
Well, I mean, look, first of all, if you don't put a saddle on that buffalo, there's no way Caleb Williams could ride the buffalo without a saddle.
True.
Let's be real.
You could never ride a buffalo.
No, you can't ride a buffalo, especially without a fucking saddle. That ain't happening. All right.
I love how of all the things Matt's like, you couldn't fucking ride that without a saddle. No way.
I've seen a real life cowboy ride a fucking buffalo in a saddle. I seen it, and Caleb Williams, you ain't no cowboy dog. This guy. You think he's gonna paint his nails? Fuck CU.
I hope so.
That's so cute, bro.
I hope so.
That shit is so cute. It's like the cutest shit I've ever seen in my life.
He's going to paint something on there, that's for sure.
It's like baby doll cute.
I have to say, this has been the most normal interactions between fan bases. Like, they posted that. I dunked on it. Everyone had a good time with it. There wasn't, like, insane, like, anger behind any, like, USC fan responding to me. Like, everyone had a good laugh. This has been a nice week. But it did remind me of something, Alyssa, if you can pull up that video. Another gem we got from USC a few years back. I hadn't thought about this in forever, but we do have a short clip to share here because USC, they've had moments like this before where we had questions.
University of Sexual Balling. That's USB.
One more time.
University of Sexual Balling. That's USB.
That's courtesy of former USC running back Mark Tyler. TMZ caught up with him at the club, and he said USC stands for University of Sexual Ballers.
Yeah,
well done.
I mean, look, man, they've had some good players in their past. I will say that.
Oh, they certainly have.
Look, it's hard to have vindictive conversations with people online when you've never beaten the school.
Totally.
So let's just be real. I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit. I lost to them twice in college, too. I mean, it's not fun. I'd really like to beat these people once before we die. Fuck.
You had to play Carson Palmer, huh?
Yeah, man. My freshman year, we played them in the Coliseum. And
I don't remember that one.
That's when Marquise Houston went off. He went off.
Okay.
He went off, dog. I'll give him his flowers that night. He went off. We lost 17-14. We missed 3 field goals. It sucked. After the game, Victor Rogers walked in and literally ripped the entire side of a locker off and threw it at Mark Mariscal, our kicker.
Oh, wow.
And said,
punter.
He was the kicker at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he was like, do your fucking job, essentially, in a very nice Victor Rogers type tone. And that was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, wow, this shit just got real. And then my red shirt junior year in 2002, Carson Palmer and like Palomalu and Sultan McCullough, I broke my leg in camp and I watched them put 40 on us in Folsom.
I think it was worse.
Was that
40-3? Okay, it felt worse.
That was a annihilation.
I'll say this: back then we weren't used to losing like that.
No, that
felt
was
way
one
worse.
of those days where you were like, "Holy shit, that was bad." And then that team went on
They
to
had,
like
like,
win
one-
the North. And
Yeah.
that was a really good football team. We had first rounders on that team and shit.
But that was like Carson Palmer, maybe like one of the Mike Williams.
They were so
Or-
loaded. Bro.
Clay Matthews.
Yeah,
But look,
I mean,
my boy Donald Strickland is a 12-year NFL vet, one of the best corners I ever played with. I love D-Strick to death. But he will tell you, when Sultan McCullough got that pitch down the left side and he took an angle at him and Sultan just turned the fucking corner and went, and Donald was like, holy shit. And he was just chasing.
Yeah.
Donald runs 4.4.
yeah.
And it was one of those days where you just go, you tip the cap and you go, okay, you guys were better than us that day. I think if we played that game again that year, we would be better prepared. But this isn't a division game, so they walked in and whipped our ass. God, it was bad.
And there haven't been any bright spots against USC ever. I mean,
There's been
If we're
17-14 in 2016 was heartbreaking in the Coliseum.
Yep.
They should have won that game.
2019
no
game.
Yeah.
And then what'd you say, the Mel Tucker year, that
Yep.
was a heartbreaker because they were up 10.
They had a chance. Yeah, you're right. There have been a couple times where they've been close, been able to keep them close. And honestly, if we're talking about it, like Caleb Williams is probably the best pro prospect they've had at quarterback since Carson Palmer.
Oh, for sure.
They've had, Matt Leinart come through, and they've had Matt Barkley come through, and probably one or two more that I'm not thinking of.
John David Booty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they haven't had a guy like this, and he's really special. But I'll say this: I turned on the tape of the ASU game last night, and I hesitate to trust my eyes after I thought they had a chance to hang with Oregon after watching the Texas Tech film, but they certainly aren't invincible. And I watched a clip of Undisputed yesterday where
Our friends.
where Skip was talking to Keyshawn. Keyshawn, of course, went to USC, and he said like Keyshawn hasn't been talking shit about USC because he's not confident in them yet. And I think that's what happens when you watch this team. Like USC is very reliant on Caleb Williams making special plays for them, and he is absolutely capable of it. And it's going to be frustrating for Buffs fans because he has it all. Like when you watch him, I hadn't really watched him much since last year. He just has the Houdini escape out of sacks, scramble around, keep his eyes downfield. He throws a touchdown to Brenton Rice in that game where it's just like he looked dead to rights, did like a 360 in the pocket, bailed out, found him wide open. Like he is that special. But he gets in a little bit of a hero ball mode.
Yes.
And will give you a couple opportunities. He gave ASU 2 opportunities that could have completely changed the game. I mean, one hit an ASU dude right in the numbers. Would have been a pick 6 if he caught it and went right through his arms and dropped. But that's one thing is I think you'll get a couple opportunities to turn the ball over. And then the other thing is ASU smacked them around in the running game. And to me, the headline of this show was who's the breakout player that needs to who's the player that needs to break out on Saturday for the Buffs to beat USC? It's Alton McCaskill. Scattaboo for ASU, who is, I mean,
He's a hell of a player.
yeah, like all of the cliches you want to use about a white running back, sneaky athletic, all that stuff.
Try hard, runs hard.
Yeah. I mean, he does it.
Runs.
He hits them all. He hits all of the cliches, and he's awesome to watch. But they pretty much just put the entire game on his shoulders. We're like, hey, we need you to stay in this. They've got him punting. They've got him doing fake punts. They've got him running like 3rd and 6.
The concrete Charlie right there, baby.
3rd and 6 Wildcat. Like they were just like Scattaboo all day.
Yep.
So it's kind of what we said about Oregon last week. As I said, hey, the one thing that they crushed them with was QB runs. We knew they weren't going to be able to do that with Shedeur. They could if they wanted to, but they didn't want to for understandable reasons. You got to run the rock. You got to get like a power run game going, and you got to give it a chance more than they have so far because that is clearly the weakest spot of USC's defense. You got to try.
Well, look, if they don't figure out a way to run the ball in this game, and I'm talking carries, not just success, you're going to give the ball to USC quick too, and that was one of the problems last week in Oregon.
Yep.
We can't control the time of possession, and our defense isn't. Look, Shiloh's a hell of a player. I think when Travis Hunter's on the field, obviously he's a generational talent. But other than that, guys,
Jordan Dominic's had moments.
Jordan
for
Dominic's
sure.
a good player. He's out there busting his ass. You can isolate a guy that doesn't have anybody else helping him. I saw a Nebraska game where they looked like predators, and then I saw the CSU game where they looked like they were chasing, and then I saw the Oregon game where they looked like they were
outmatched,
totally outmatched, and not just outmatched, but they were taking it. And when you play 3 technique in the trench and you're taking it, that's not a fun place to be. So that's a mindset thing, though. Like I'm waiting for someone, being a guy who played 3 technique in college and the NFL, and then moved to the offensive line in the NFL, and had to, earn my pension on the other side of the ball. This is all about attitude, bro. And my challenge to the offense and especially the defensive line is, look, offensive line, there's 5 of us. We can create one fist and we can work together. And they need to figure that shit out, and they need to put a big tight end on the field and a fullback and an H-back.
The line in the second segment.
Yeah, and they need to get physical in that regard. But on the defensive line, like at the 3 technique, what do you think they're going to do? Not double team you the whole fucking game? You don't think you're going to have to set the point of attack and be a relatively bad motherfucker right there to win? Like I am used to a 3 technique in Boulder, like Mustafa, like George Hippolyte, like Tyler Brayton, like Bannon. Like there's guys, Jesse Warren played way back in the day, and you look all the way back through time with Joel Steed and, Walker and just dudes out the yin-yang. And even when we're not very good, we've always had a guy in there that can hold their own. And I'm not saying the kids up there, look, I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm saying what I saw Saturday was the guard tackle combo blocks were toying with 3 techniques. They were moving them 4 yards. That is a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Put your hand in the fucking dirt and attack the point man, and let's get nasty in here, and let's figure out if we've got anybody that's going to fist fight here. This isn't non-conference play anymore. Like, that was a wake-up call, and it was a humbling wake-up call.
What size did you play at in college?
The same height, so 6'4", 310.
You'd be the biggest player on that line.
Legitimately, yeah.
And
I was the biggest guy on our defensive line my senior year, but in 01, I played 5 technique, 3 technique at 285. So
yeah.
it's a mindset thing, bro. If you're 280, then you better play with your fucking hair on fire through your hips with violent ass hands. These are fucking weapons, not hands. Like, I don't care if you're 280. That's not an excuse.
I know. I'm just saying, from the beginning of the season, when we said, hey, what are the potential weaknesses of this team? Everyone wanted to talk about the size, and I said the size, this team is not small, but there is one place where they need more size, and it's on the interior of the defensive line. That's it. That was a clear thing. Like, Oregon has NFL offensive linemen,
Yep.
and they went up against an undersized defensive line, and they had their way. USC also has that, and you're going to have to, force them to try and make some plays with Caleb Williams. The other thing about Caleb Williams, I want to say, he was gassed that whole game.
Oh, he was cooked.
Every time they cut to him on the sidelines, he's like sucking air.
And now he's got to play at altitude.
And I noticed when he was tired, like around the end of drives, is where where I was mentioning he kind of got a little crazy with the ball.
Yeah,
maybe a chance there. I'm digging for things here that might be an opportunity, but I know what you're saying. You want that defensive line to just be more mean.
Well, I just need somebody. Look, if we're going to be undersized, and that's the excuse we want to use, and that's fine. There's reasons and excuses, and both are valid. I'm not talking shit. It is what it is. Like, the fact that you almost have to say you're not talking shit these days about the Buffs is cool, but it's also like there's a lot of sensitivity out there. Like, look, I'm going to say this as a guy who loves them. We got absolutely humbled last week, and we needed it, and I'm glad it happened. And now we can move forward and see actually who's going to respond and fight. We're not going undefeated, but we need to go 4-4 in conference to go 7-4 and get to a fucking bowl game and have this mean something the way it's supposed to. So in that regard, I think we can beat Arizona. I think we can beat Arizona State. I think we can beat Stanford, obviously, but they think they can beat us too because last week what we put on tape, that's what you are, what you put on film, and Coach Prime knows that shit. So, this, just because they were the golden children of college football for a month, doesn't mean you can't take your licks and do it again. Like, the response from the team is what I'm looking for. If they come out and you see the same exact team that's like scared of the bully they're about to fight, we got a problem. That's an issue. That's twice. But if they come out and they respond and Shedeur matches Caleb Williams, and that's really the thing here is regardless of offensive line play, defensive line play, skill player play, if Travis Hunter plays or if he doesn't, because I think he will play, regardless if Coach Prime says he won't and Travis wants to get on the field, I think he'll play. And if he doesn't, then I'm wrong. But I think the only thing that matters in this game is can Shedeur Sanders at home match Caleb Williams' greatness on the field? And he's going to have to overcome offensive linemen that are worse athletes than the defensive line that's coming after him. He's going to have to overcome if Coach Lewis doesn't want to acclimate the offense to be more run-heavy out of a formation standpoint. Not criticizing, just saying it's hard to run the ball out of spread. It's hard, but if you line up in 22 personnel and you commit to running vertically at people, maybe that fits our personnel better up front. Again, not in the meeting room, but Coach OB is pretty smart, and that system, they've shown the ability to change in the system in the past to exploit the defensive inefficiencies on the field. You've seen that in the 3 wins. You saw it against CSU. They made adjustments, and it really benefited them in the second half. Now, can they learn from their mistakes last week, or are they losing? Because that's a huge part of this. Are you learning or losing? And last week was a learning experience because I don't think we have a room full of losers. In fact, I know we don't.
So you mentioned Shedeur needing to go toe-to-toe with Caleb, and I think you're right. But he won't be able to if you can't run the ball in this game. Because what USC does well, the one thing their defense does really well is get after the passer. And so if they have no threat of run, then they will get after Shedeur, and we'll see what happened last week, which is they can't protect against guys who are incredibly talented who know what's coming.
So how do we fix it?
Well, so Coach talked about this on Tuesday. Obviously, they have to run the ball. He mentioned they have to run the ball. It's something they want to do. But he said also they want to get the short and intermediate passing game going too. Like, they just don't have a quick game that they can fall back on to really – they go to these screens, and that's kind of their quick game at this point. They're not letting Shedeur be Shedeur. Like, process quickly, make some quick reads, get the ball out for 5 yards, and just let's keep it moving.
I will say this. As an offensive lineman, it's pretty tough when you're averaging 2 yards a carry to put fear in anybody, and the safeties can just sit there and they can control the box with 7 guys. So – look, it's a challenge to the offensive line. Let's just be real. Like, hey, big 6'5", 300-pound guys, are you going to fucking bully ball anybody up front, or are we going to just take it and rely on all the skill players? Because, look, we're sexy as hell, bro. We are so sexy, but we lack the attitude up front to match it from a substance standpoint, in my opinion.
And you've heard that from the coaches, right? It's the way that OB talked about Jack Bailey. Mm-hmm. He was like, hey, he brings a toughness and he brings a dog mentality that we don't have yet. And he was honest about that. And Coach Prime, he talks about it with Shilo. He's like, he's a dog. He brings that. And it's not that those are the only 2 guys, but I understand what you're saying. And I think last week, I just don't think they were expecting that to happen. And once it started happening to them, it was too late.
Yeah, but it's been a month-long problem. It wasn't just at Oregon. They can't run the ball at all.
But what I'm saying, I'm just saying in terms of the game, the way the game played out, they got to a position where they were on their heels faster than you could snap your fingers. I just don't think they were mentally prepared to be in that spot because they had been leaning on Shedeur, and he had got them out of some out of some tight situations, and they had always made the play that they needed to make. I mean, look, if you go back and watch the CSU game, that is just a series of the whole end of the third and fourth quarter is just like people making big plays in moments when you absolutely needed them. And so I just think that they were in a position where they were like, okay, we're going to get into a dogfight here, and our guys are going to get us out of it. And all of a sudden, they were on the mat before they knew what was coming.
Right.
Well, when you average 10 yards a carry, that happens.
Well, and what I'm saying is this week, it's going to bring a totally different type of mindset out of them, or it should, like you mentioned, they should come out this week and say we're not going to let anything like that ever happen to us again.
Well, look, it's a learning experience. You got hit in the mouth, and when you taste blood, do you lean into it or do you lean back? And I'm a lean into it type. That's just me. Like when I taste blood, I dig that shit and I'm all about it, and I'm trying. Like I'll smile at you all fucking day. Like you knock my teeth out and I'm still coming. So I think that this team needed that last week, and we're going to find out this week who is going to take the fight to SC, because this is a team we've never beaten before. Where they're in Folsom. Every recruit in the fucking world is there. The lights are still shining in Boulder, even though they were dimmed last week. You can't stop the shine. I mean, everybody
shine
in
even
America
brighter.
is there.
Coach
Stars are going to be out.
Coach Prime today said
bro.
it's 3 times whatever you've heard so far, and then he said, I think half the NBA is going to be at the game.
I mean, LeBron and Snoop and Lil Wayne and God fucking knows who else, and the list of recruits is through the roof.
If anyone can get me in touch with DJ Khaled about playing golf tomorrow, please help me.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about the weekend. I'm excited about all the celebrities and shit. That's cool. But I'm more excited to watch the football team respond. And all the shine is nice, and we appreciate it. Trust me, Buff Nation, we love it. But that we've got to get back to the basics up front of what this university is built on. And I think Coach Prime and everybody experienced that last week of us over here, you grew up watching teams that prided themselves on the trench. Like that's what this place was built on when I played there. And we have a long legacy of guys that are, Mustafa Johnson's up in Canada right now. He's going to be the defensive player of the year. He's going to be an NFL player next year again. He's killing it. So good
for him.
There's tons of guys around that have done it in the trench here. And this is the next generation. We can win with these kids. They've done a great job up to this point. You tell me a month ago that we're going to be 3-1 going into SC, I'll take that shit every day.
Yep.
So they got punched in the mouth. Now, the response. I don't care if you got punched. I don't care if you lost. It happens. Oregon's fucking good. Dan Lanning is no punk. Everyone knows that now.
He's kind of a punk.
Well, you not like him all you want. He's my guy. I have more respect for him now than ever, because he did what he did. If I was an Oregon fan, that's exactly how I'd want him to go after it. So I can't really be mad at the man. So if anything, he opened our eyes in Buffalo country to what we need to fix in order to get on that level, because we want to go beat Oregon the next time we play them 42-6. So in order to do that, we have to match that. We can't run from it. We can't look at that and go, we don't want that. We look at that and go, that's what we want to be. We want Shedeur behind a big physical offensive line that takes no shit and pummels motherfuckers. We want defensive linemen that are going to pass rush and destroy the other quarterback. That's what we're looking for. And that's what Coach Prime is bringing into Boulder, and that's what he's going to cultivate moving forward. And I totally agree with him when he says, you better get me now. Have fun getting me now. This is as bad as we're ever going to be.
Oh, yeah.
When they lock down the big guys, and look, the big guys that are up there right now are good players. They got to pick that shit up, though, and they know it. They know it. When they lock down big guys, the 5-star kids that they've got recruited and the transfer portal guys that we don't even know about, that they're already in contact with, and the guys they're going to bring in to match their skill players.
Yeah.
You better hold on to your ass out there, because we're going to be fucking road grading before you know it.
Yep.
Okay.
It's just what it is.
I want to get back to the ASU game real quick, and then we'll talk about recruiting. But first, a word from our friends. Can you guess, Matt?
That's Shady Rays?
That's Shady Rays.
Fantastic. This is my favorite.
Take on the sun with gear
I need
built
to talk
to
to
last.
these people.
Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Well, you can head on over to the Park Meadows Mall or go online to shadyrays.com and shop their entire collection.
Well, gee, I think I will.
They've got hundreds of combinations of frames and lenses. Again, the Park Meadows Mall, or go online to Shady Rays. Use that code DNVR. You'll get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. And you can try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. And also shout out to MSU Denver. Turn your goals into greatness at MSU Denver. Courses are available online, in person, or both. We have a few alumni here at DNVR. And if you're thinking about going back and getting your degree, check out MSU Denver. You can create your career and turn your dreams into reality at MSU Denver. 90-plus majors, 10 graduate programs with courses online, in person, or both. Learn more at msudenver.edu. So just going back to the player that needs to have a great game, I guess, against USC and what Alton can do. I mean, Coach has been very conservative with injuries. He's been looking out for these players for the long term. But Alton got in at the very end of that game. He looked pretty fine to me.
Looked ready to go, yeah.
Do we think he starts?
Depends. I would love to see that. I would love to see you just throw something at USC that they're not ready for. And you mentioned like coming out in 22 or whatever they may do. They could come out in the Rick Ross package, for the first play of the game and just say, hey, we're going to go.
Just put your best players on the field and see what happens.
Well, let's just go hit them and just see what happens. Like you can't run that the whole game because you can't have Shane Cokes and Bishop Thomas playing both ways the whole game.
Yeah.
But go out there and just hit them with something early that just makes them think a little.
And look, bro, that's one thing. Remember back to TCU when they lined up and absolutely shit-stomped TCU at the point of attack on the goal line.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's there already.
Yep.
It's on tape, and it was a thing of beauty. Savion's double team was incredible, and the defensive lineman on the Mike linebacker just eviscerating
Bishop.
that kid.
Yep.
That shit. I mean, that's what football is. So
You had Shane Cokes kicking on an end, too.
that's what you want. Why can't they line up and do that? That shortens the game too, and it keeps the ball out of fucking Pretty Fingers' hands.
Well, you don't even need to do that. I mean, you've got offensive
fingers are so
linemen. You got guys like Kareem Harden. Like, throw him in as a 6 offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Just get bigger.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways you can do this because I think one of the things is they don't necessarily trust their tight ends
Right.
as blocking weapons. So just bring in more offensive linemen. You've got them. There's, like I said, there's options here, and I think they're going to use them this week. I think what I learned from ASU is ASU and Kenny Dillingham had no ego in the way that they went into that game. And what I mean by that is they felt like we're going to have to empty the playbook. We're going to have to empty the the reserves to win this football game. And so what ASU did is they went for 4 fourth downs. They were 3 for 3 until the very last one of the game, which was essentially garbage time. So they converted 3 big fourth downs, including a fake punt. They attempted an onside kick in the game. They didn't actually end up getting it, but it didn't end up hurting them that much. They ran multiple trick plays and essentially just said, like, hey, let's play USC like we're going to do anything and everything we can to beat them. And I tip my cap to them because a lot of the things that they were trying worked. Like, they set up a fake punt by having the running back punt the ball the first time.
Yep.
Next time he goes out there, he throws the ball. So they had a bunch of stuff. They actually had a great pop pass set up out of Wildcat that worked perfectly, and he just overthrew him by like a half. But like, they really emptied the chamber, and I think that's what they need to do this week.
A Wildcat, brother. That's something that Colorado must do.
Yeah,
They've got to figure this out, and because they have so many, I mean, Cavassier Smoke on top of McCaskill, on top of Edwards, on top of the receivers they have. I mean, I understand that you take the ball out of Shador's hands, but remember how well it worked. We've worked with Laviska. I played on a Miami Dolphin team with Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams and Patrick Cobbs and Pennington that invented that shit.
Yep.
I mean, that was the year that we won the division down with Miami in
Pats,
2008, and it's a matchup nightmare until we played the Ravens. It worked on everybody but Baltimore.
Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs.
Now Ray and
it.
Ed were like, yeah, nice motion. Fuck you. But it is a matchup problem for defenses, and with the amount of skill players they have, you can knife 5 yards in Wildcat pretty consistently in college football if you do it correctly and your mesh point's good with the ball and everything else. Your offensive linemen, like after watching the Dolphins and Broncos this weekend, like I just want to live in Mike McDaniel's brain because of all the different misdirection shit he did. But
It's beautiful.
That's essentially what Coach Lewis is trying to do. He's trying to hit you with misdirection and attack the entire field. So in order to do that, sometimes you just got to get big. And I agree with both of you. We've got to figure out how to do the Wildcat. We've got to get much bigger up front and just start running vertically. Even if it is smoke motion with the Wildcat action, the vertical presence of the running game has to improve. We got to stop running laterally to go vertically. We need to line up and try and move.
Yep. And
Ace block, deuce block, tray block, move motherfuckers, and run vertically.
And I don't know, like, obviously this is something that you have to practice and that you have to have a guy you trust, but, like, to me, it would almost make sense to have it be Alton getting the direct snap and then use Dylan as that motion man coming across.
Dylan can fly.
Because that's going to absolutely. I mean, if you're playing outside linebacker, you have to pause a moment to make sure that Dylan doesn't get that edge and get around you, because that'd be a touchdown if he does.
And Big Bet 36, what's his name?
Savion Wilkerson.
You can put him right next to McCaskey as well. So, you can line Shador up in, and he can move back outside. You can set up trick plays off of that with quarterback throwbacks and shit off of that action. So there's a lot of different stuff they could do with it. I'd like to think that they will do it, but I guarantee you they're not going to come out and just run the same thing. Like the plan they had for Oregon, I don't think it will look anything like the plan they have for SC.
I don't think so either.
If anything, they've cut down this week on everything they're putting out. Like they've been a little secretive. So I would think that they come out on Saturday hyper-focused, and you see something different offensively and also something different defensively, because that, like, sit around and wait for Oregon to do it and go tackle them shit last week, that didn't work. So we better heat up Caleb Williams. Like, I'd rather die firing my gun than watch them kill us. So let's just blitz this son of a bitch all day. He's going to score points anyway. We might as well just go hit him as many times as humanly possible. I mean, wouldn't you rather see that happen to him than that happen to us? Because the way that they're going to tell the SC defenders right now are sitting in a fucking room at Southern California, not in class, going, hey, I tell you how we beat CU this week. We go hit Shador in the face 500 times and the game's over.
Yeah, you can't let that happen.
So we got to do it to them then. Like the defensive players of Colorado, take it upon yourself this week to go make Caleb Williams' life a living fucking hell. And if you don't, then he's going to chop your ass up.
Yep. All right, what do you got for
us? Is that too harsh?
Defensively, nope. There's opportunities on this defense. We talked about it yesterday. I mean, they have talent, but this scheme just hasn't worked. Going back to when Grinch and Riley were at Oklahoma, they allowed us a ton of yards, a ton of points. It was the same situation last year. CU's the worst team in the pack in allowing rushing yards per game. Next worst team is USC.
Yeah.
So this is a great get-right opportunity for the running game.
Baby.
And the interesting thing about this, from CU's run defense perspective, is they don't want to run the ball as much as Oregon did. Oregon was happy just running it as much as they could,
right?
And they just kept gashing him. And obviously, they wanted to get Bo Nix some stats for his Heisman campaign and whatnot. But
put another billboard up.
That's what.
No clicks. Oregon hates clicks.
No, billboards only.
Yeah.
USC wants to throw it. That's who they are. Lincoln Riley is a pass-first quarterback. He has the best quarterback, arguably the best quarterback. They're going to throw that rock, and so you're going to get a couple breaks when it comes to the running game, just because they want to throw it.
Yep.
Lincoln's been so nice.
He did. He put some respect on Coach Prime's name.
Nice.
Because he's secure.
Well, and he's in a very similar situation in terms of using the portal to the most of his ability too. He talked about that.
Yeah, he's not stupid. He came in and did the same exact thing at SC.
Yep.
He brought his own quarterback. Might as well have been his kid. That's why, come on, dog. This is not the first time this has happened.
All right.
That's how I know it works.
Let's get on to recruiting. It's another massive recruiting weekend. But shout out to Volo. Let's check in on RK and the pickleball team. How
Undefeated, baby.
Still?
Undefeated, yeah.
Love it.
Pickleball.
We're really finding our stride. Gotta tell you.
Love to see it.
I had some aggressive smashes the other day.
Yeah?
It was,
Are you an overhand guy or an underhand guy?
Both.
Do you make that like
Did you
noise?
Backhand, forehand.
Hey, did you see Coach Prime learning from the tennis players yesterday?
Yes, that was great.
On Reach the People?
Yeah. That's great.
But shout out to Volo. Sign up now, become a free agent. They've got tons of leagues, tons of sports going on. They've got leagues all throughout the entire city. Sign up now before it's too late. Get your Volo pass and start playing in leagues as a free agent today. Make sure to use the code DNVR10 and you'll get $10 off at www.volosports.com/Denver. And also shout out to Fubo, the best place to watch football this football season. Just best place to watch sports, honestly. On Fubo TV, you can record everything, go back and watch it all. They got the Pac-12 network. They've got all the conference networks. They got NFL Red Zone. It's amazing. I love Fubo. Watch all your favorite college football and the NFL Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. All right, we got like 10 minutes, Matt. Tell us about what's going down in terms of recruiting this weekend.
Well, look, they've got big-time recruits from all over the country coming in. From the 5-star receivers, is Underwood's coming back this week, isn't he?
So
I don't think so.
The 5-star receivers aren't coming. They both rescheduled.
They both rescheduled.
Yeah.
There's a different 5-star receiver that's coming though.
A third?
Yeah.
I mean, they're bringing in. I know they're bringing in a ton of offensive linemen, a ton of defensive linemen from around the country. But from an in-state perspective, they're bringing in, just on my docket with the guys that I work with, which is the best offensive lineman in the state. We'll talk about the other ones first, but Lincoln Fopoli Jr. at Fountain Fort Carson is a 3-star that they're going to be bringing in, and he was there last week, and OB got eyes on him again, and it's just like, he's a grown-ass man. I call him a tank person. Lincoln's 16 years old. He's 6'6", 325.
My God.
His ponytail hangs down to his ass, and he seems like the kind of guy that I would love to play with, and he wears 16. He's just a bad motherfucker, and he needs to be in Boulder, and I'm pushing on this hard. I personally think he's the best offensive lineman in the state of Colorado, and I know that's going to piss Gage off, but you're 1B. But Jordan Ochoa, the Castleview defensive end, he decommitted from Wyoming the other night, and we were on the phone. He's like, I think I'm going to decommit, and I said, yeah, this is business, homie. Let's make this happen. I thought he committed too early. But he's back in Boulder, and Coach Williams loves him, and he's big and he's lean, and he can really stack weight on, and he can absolutely rush the passer. And he's a kid that's been in my program for 3 years, and I watched him go from a little kid to a grown ass man, and he's a hell of a football player. So I think that they have a chance to lock his ass down. And you've got Brett Coolj coming in from IMG, the outstanding player at Valor from 2 years ago. The freshman who had 12 offers when he left to IMG, and now he's sitting around 20. He's an outstanding player. He's been with me since he was 14 years old. He's one of the guys that's now in the distance program, but he's coming back this week. They're starting to recruit his ass really hard. He's got 2 more years left in high school, so they're trying to lay foundation with that kid. Cale Weatherby and Nate Chastain, Dinkin Schmidt are 2 big linemen that are, young guys that they're trying to lay foundations with. My son Nicholas, Davis Moon are both going again this weekend, so it was very productive at CSU. They're inviting them back for the SC weekend. They're both in 8th grade, and, let's be real, they're both pretty fucking good, and I'm proud of both of them. But the real gem here is Gage, and Gage has been committed to Tennessee forever, and, I've been on his ass about this since the minute he committed. I said, congratulations. I'm going to make sure that everybody continues to recruit you. And Colorado stayed on him, and they've stayed active. And Gage Ginther is one hell of a football player. That sumbitch can get it. He is as nasty as you want to be. He'll block you until his helmet comes off. I got film. The refs are constantly telling him to calm down, which I fucking love. I tell him constantly, you get 1 a game, and if you get 2, then that's you. And he toes the line of nastiness. And when you've got him on deck and he's in town this week and he's going to the game so he can listen to the pitch. And look, the pitch is very simple. Do you want to play in the NFL? That's why guys come here now. And I think there's blood in the water if you're an offensive and defensive lineman, looking at what they need.
That's what I was going to say.
If you're a young guy and you can early enroll, and all my guys, if I can set you up to leave in January rather than leave in fucking July, so you don't sit around second semester senior year and thinking you're the big dick, and you can go to prom and just party and shit and hang out. Nah, man, let's go in January and early enroll and go to winter conditioning and acclimate yourself to the team and go to spring ball and figure all this shit out. Use that as your red shirt, just like we had 12 guys do it over the last 2 years. Talon Chandler, the fantastic player from Missouri that's in my program and has been committed to CU forever. He's early enrolling in January. If Gage is early enrolling at Tennessee right now. He leaves in January. So if he were to flip and go to Boulder, that would be the ideal situation there too. I'm sure he would. And just those two, knowing them and the way they play, the way they work, their nasty dispositions, their finishers, there's no reason why young guys can't come in here and help immediately. And when competition is open and they're going to play the best player regardless of age, that is what you want as a player. That's why you early enroll. There's no such thing anymore of like, let's just sit around and develop. If you're not actively developing while you're playing, if you're not actively developing, you're behind. Period. This is the information age, bro. Ignorance is a fucking choice. So I really think that just those guys alone, on top of the number of players coming from around the country that are ranked by these recruiting services through the roof that we don't even know about. I mean, they've got diamonds in the rough all over the country that they're... Look, let's be real. There's no tampering. There's no rules. So there's a staff everywhere, all over the country, and every college football staff right now that make phone calls and say, this kid is on this roster and we really like him. Do you think he would go in the transfer portal?
Yeah.
And they may not do it with the coaches, but it's behind closed doors, like coaches texting each other. I've got a guy that doesn't play for me, but he could play for you. I field 50 phone calls a week, text messages and phone calls from coaches like, I need this. Do you know anybody around the country that has this kind of player?
Yep.
So the transfer portal and recruiting now has opened up the doors for guys to walk in and have the opportunity to compete immediately for reps. And that, as a player, is all you need to ask for. Because if you ask for anything else, it's given to you and it's not earned, and that's fucking cheap. So all you want is the opportunity to earn it. And in Boulder right now, with a Heisman candidate at quarterback, definitely next year. We'll see how the rest of this year goes. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come here and play?
100%.
Nick Marsh is also coming. He's an MSU commit or Michigan State commit. Brian Wingo and Cameron Coleman
did something happen at Michigan State that would force him to come here or something?
Possibly.
Keep going, Jake.
The five-star receivers, again, Ryan Wingo and Cam Coleman, are rescheduling for the winter. You already mentioned Gage Ginther.
We're low on time.
Taz Williams, four-star wide receiver, is also coming. He's from Texas. Mantrez Walker, we've talked about him quite a bit over the last few weeks. He was committed to Michigan for a while. Got a lot of publicity on his offer from CU. He's coming this weekend. Modern day five-star wide receiver Marcus Harris is also coming as well.
That's the other five-star.
Yeah, he's a five-star on ESPN, 247 Sports consensus four-star. Travis Smith Jr., he is also a wide receiver from Atlanta, Georgia. He's in the 2025 class. He's coming. Modern day is 2026. Caden Dixon Wyatt, he is also a wide receiver. He's coming down. And then you already mentioned Brett College.
Bro.
There's tons of names. It's going to be crazy.
That doesn't mention LeBron, DJ Khaled, potentially Tom Brady, Will Ferrell.
Right.
Maybe Kawhi's back. Kawhi was like the funniest one.
That was the most random
randomly
one.
there, like not that much fanfare around it. He just like showed up, was like, "Oh, what's up?" Like,
he just stood in the corner.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who he was. Just walked right by him.
I don't even think he like rolled up with the crew.
All right,
Just super weird. Ha 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 ha.
I saw Connor asking in the comments if we're talking Pac-12. Come watch the DNVR draft show. We're on right after this. We do it once a week. We'll be talking all things college football. Shout out to our friends at Game Time. Tickets are obviously sold out. They're very hard to come by. Go check out Game Time. It's going to be the place to pick up tickets for this season at Folsom Field. Use that promo code DNVR when you sign up, and you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And also shout out to Backus and Shanker. If you get hurt, they are here to help. They've been helping Colorado families win for 25 years. No fees to speak with them about your case. No fees while they work on your case, and no fees unless they win your case. They've won over $1 billion for their clients. They've got offices all over the city. And they help with all kinds of injury cases where you weren't at fault. Car accident, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrian, trucks, even if you're hurt at work. If you need to sue, smash the 222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free. Backus and Shanker wins.
All right.
All right.
Questions?
Questions.
What do we got, Alyssa?
Who's first?
Also, hit that thumbs up. Jeez,
Yeah,
guys,
hit the
you guys
thumbs
are
up.
Slacking
And
today.
subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We'd also appreciate your
Pick this
5-star
shit
review.
up.
Says who you with the super chat. Appreciate you. Says thoughts on grabbing a few guys from Michigan State during the temporary 30-day portal. So these guys that enter the portal now, well, there's a lot of stuff with this. First off, they won't be able to commit or choose a new school until after the season.
Yeah, why would you leave right now?
Why you would leave right now is because Michigan State's only played 4 games. So if you enter the portal, you enter as a red shirt, and you keep that year of eligibility. So
you better have a plan, kids. I mean, I've got a kid.
You got 2 days.
Well, look, Braden Miller from Eagle Crest High School that got recruited hard by CU and went to Michigan State last year is there. And I just, look, I understand the situation is bad. The more people leave, the more opportunity is to play there this year. It's probably a bad situation, but all I'm saying is the transfer portal looks nice. Just have a plan. That's all.
I just wonder if there's a chance here that so many Michigan State players hit the portal that, like, it messes with their ability to field the team.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. I think a lot of guys will stay and play and try and get filmed that way. Because, look, going into the transfer portal without any tape is a big-time risk.
Yep.
And it's tough as a football player because you got to stay in school.
Yep.
That's what
and now all of a sudden you can't practice.
Yep.
Well, you're just going to go home and hang out and shit?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys don't have support. Like 6-0 allows the 22 guys that win the transfer portal last year and all used the medium, which is me. All 22 got placed, and like 19 of them got NIL deals. It's about having a plan. You can't have an agent, but that means you can't have a consigliere. And that's what I am, dog. Like, that's what it is. I'm the medium. I'm the middleman. The coaches call me, and I can validate a kid's toughness and maturity level, and is he a fuck boy, and is he going to go to class? And, like, this is how coaches talk, everyone. I'm sorry that in Karen's world they don't understand. But when they call me and go, look, my mortgage is on the line here if I recruit the wrong kid. Does he go to class? Is he a dope smoker? Does he drink every day? Does he chase too much ass? Is he on point? Does he respect the game, or is he a fuck boy? Does he just want to post on social media and get likes, or does he actually like this shit? Is he a need football player, or is he a like football player?
All right.
And when you have that ability to differentiate the two, they always come back.
Next one. Get these questions
No,
rolling.
man, we're rolling.
Kelly's asking about Shilo not playing. I haven't watched the coach's show today yet.
It sounded like I thought I saw Louise or someone in the comments say that coach said Shiloh is still peeing blood. And
Not great.
Not good.
He has to stop that for 36 hours before the game if he wants to play.
Wow. All right.
So we're about
We're getting there.
12 hours away from that.
I'm going to say, Shilo and Travis, sometimes your health might just be a little bit more important than the football game.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
saying.
okay. Yes.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say
You
said something smart.
Hold on. Time out. Shiloh's pissing blood and Travis Hunter has a lacerated kidney?
Liver.
Okay, that's different than tape my fucking ankle and stick this needle in my ass cheek and let's go to fucking wartime. That's totally different, dog. My ankle clicks, it's fine. What am I going to go, like, sew up my kidney?
No, you can't
No,
do that.
man, if you're pissing blood, maybe we should take the day off.
All right, next one. Angela's asking, do we blitz Caleb? Do we send a DB into blitz Caleb? Caleb can escape and hurt us. Damn right he can.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I mean, yeah.
DB?
Huh?
Just DB, a single DB blitzes?
You said bring the house.
Here's what I'll
say
say.
Bring DB.
Here's what I'll say. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But if you drop back into zones and just let him carve you, it's just going to be super unfun.
Yeah, the game will suck.
Yeah. So, like, even in the first drive of the game, ASU gets USC into 3rd and 20, and they drop into, like, a soft cover 4, and Zachariah Branch literally ducks underneath the safety and is wide open in the slot, like, immediately. Easy conversion. Yeah. You cannot let that happen.
Well, look, it's going to happen. And if we play aggressive, they're going to hit plays on us.
Yeah, they will.
But we're also going to get some. So, look, shoot your shot.
Yep.
Don't sit there and watch. Don't watch. Fuck watching. Just go. Let's be super aggressive and let's die shooting our gun rather than just sitting there like holding it in the corner, like shaking, like, oh, my God, they're going to beat us.
Yep.
If we play scared, they will fuck us up.
Next question.
Just
a super chat.
Cushing's with the super chat. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Thoughts on Henry Blackburn visiting Travis Hunter? Good for them.
Visiting.
They
met
got
up
together,
last night.
met up. I think
he's in Travis's
hatchet.
video or something.
I honestly think this is Travis being Travis. Like,
Travis is awesome.
Doesn't want beef. He doesn't want, Henry Blackburn getting death threats, all that stuff. It's Travis. I mean, I said it the other day. Like, he took the high road immediately on his show, and it's him taking the super high road of being like, look, like, I'm meeting up with him. I'm shaking his hand. We're good. And a lot of people feel like Matt feel like Matt does.
I'm cool.
Hey, let's move on. Next one.
Everything's great. Seeing canvas.
G Pup Date says, "What's your thoughts on the D-line play calling or lack thereof?"
D-line play calling.
Talking stunts.
Okay, timeout. There's no D-line play calling. That's not a thing.
You can run games and stunts.
But I mean,
slants.
Look, the defensive line here. This is what needs to happen. We play over under front, so they're penetrating defensive linemen, which means I'm not trying to read a gap like a 4-eye or 2-eye or 0 and try and keep people lateral on the line of scrimmage so linebackers can make plays. A 3 technique is supposed to attack the B gap and make life a living fucking hell for the offense. So either line up and get some fury behind your hips and go play defensive line, or get your ass kicked. That's how you coach defensive linemen. Do you want to play the B gap or not? Are you going to play the point of attack and separate the goddamn point man from the drive man on the double team or not? Do you know the double team is coming? Are you going to chase the ball? Are you going to play hard, or are you going to take it?
Next question.
Super chat from my guy Samad. How can we make the school more attractive to O-line/D linemen? How can us as fans help?
This is the sexiest fucking place in the country. Next question.
There you go.
Hey, if he's gonna answer it fast, that works for me.
Shout out Samad. Robert says
this place is so
RBs have
right
been
now.
kind of productive. It's the attempts and sacks that skew stat. The sacks are killing their rushing stats for sure.
Yes.
Shador's, he's at minus 91 rushing yards on the season.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
It's ridiculous.
Rushing sacks count for rushing stats.
Protect
really quick,
the fucking passer. It's not dumb.
I
If
just
you don't
wanna-
want your rushing numbers to suck,
Why does the NFL
protect the
not do
passer.
it then?
Because the NFL's smug.
No, that has nothing to do with running the ball. It's a dumb stat. I also want to circle back just to the question about how do you make it attractive for offensive line and defensive line. You tell them what Coach Prime is telling them, which is, I am you away from competing
You're
at
the
the
piece.
highest level.
You're
You
the
are the
piece.
guy, and that'll work.
It's going to work. It is working.
MLC's on the Arizona Wildcats.
Also, I'll talk. He said, what can we do to help? I'll talk a little bit about this more tomorrow, but
Yes.
NIL.
Yep.
That is
Facts.
That's
You want
it's
to know how you
time.
can help? It's called change, son.
We'll talk about more about that tomorrow on the
For
pregame
sure,
show.
for
It's going to be a good one.
Warren says, "Are Buffs going all gold this Saturday?" I don't know.
No, it's a
and
whiteout.
It is a whiteout, but I've never seen them wear white at home.
Look, if the last time there was a whiteout and they called for all the fans to wear white, everybody wore white and they came out in black and gold against Minnesota and got beat 30-0, and it was super embarrassing.
Why you got to bring up old stuff?
Because, bro, you got to talk about the past so you don't repeat it. This is the way it works. If you can't call for a whiteout and then not wear white, I don't care if they've never wore white at home. Deion's never been the coach. Coach Prime can do whatever he wants. If the alumni base gets upset because we're wearing white at
no one
home,
will care about that.
You can take your upset and stick it where the sun don't shine. No one gives a shit. Come complain to me about it. Find me a full
No one
swim
will
on
complain.
Saturday and be like, oh, we're wearing white. Boo fucking who.
No one
Just
will
get
complain
behind
about
it, baby. Let's go.
I'm wearing black and gold.
I'm thinking gold helmets with the uniforms, with the uniforms from TCU.
All right.
Oh, that would be super sexy. I'd dig that. Yep. Oh, okay, RK. In fact, I think that's the most feasible way to do it. Listen to him more.
David wants to know any news on Wazoo and Oregon State joining the Big 12. I haven't been keeping up, man.
Now, I will say this. I've got 2 guys offered by Washington State and 1 committed. Jackson Cowgirl, the outstanding defensive end from Erie, is committed to Washington State.
Mm-hmm. Did you say Cowgirl?
Cowgirl.
Jackson and Mason Moose Cowgirl is the tight end. He's a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Coach Brewster has his eye on that kid. He's been to a bunch of games.
Yep.
Jackson's hard commit to Washington State. He loves it. They love him. They also offered Ochoa, and they're all over Jordan and trying to get him to go commit.
So what are they telling
They
them?
are telling them that they're going to the Big 12. They are in active negotiation trying to get to the Big 12. They are talking to the commissioner, trying to get Oregon State and Washington State to the Big 12. And then the Pac-12 goes bye-bye. So, and I want that to happen. Washington State and Oregon State should not be left out. They shouldn't have to go make $6 million in the Mountain West. And you know what? Go watch those two teams play and tell me that they're not deserving of being in the big
top
in the
25
Big 12.
teams. I don't know what Oregon State is.
Washington State just beat Oregon State. They are.
The only thing I don't
ball.
like about it is it just makes the Big 12 the Pac-12.
Who
again.
cares? Who cares? I don't. The people in Pullman and the people in Corvallis really give a shit. And
they're good
they've
football
been Power 5 forever, and they don't deserve to just get left out.
I know. I just want them to go somewhere else.
Do wills, Alyssa.
Where do you want them to go?
Percentage of Folsom? What percentage of Folsom?
Because I don't want it to be the Pac-12 all over
Who
again.
gives a shit, dude? We've
Me?
already got
I just
Utah
said I do.
There than the fucking herpes schools. Let them come too.
Do we think USC is going to
Did I say
travel
that
to
out
this
loud?
game?
What was that?
Do we think USC is going to travel to this game?
No.
No. Shout out Will.
They
though.
don't even sell at their own stadium.
No, but
That's
every
true.
fake USC fan in Denver is going to be there.
Well, and they'll show up on Twitter for sure.
Yeah. Deuces.
Next one. Last one. Super chat from Meta. I want to see Alton get 30 snaps. I don't like the constant rotation. Let him work like he did at Houston. 6'1", 200 plus. Better pass protect as well.
Give me
I
Alton
agree.
and Dylan.
Yep.
Steady dose. And,
Let's
and
get
you
some
can work in
two-backs.
some Savion.
I
And
want to see smoke, man.
Smoke too.
He's a hell of a player. I don't know why he can't get on the
I mean,
field.
he's been a dog on special teams. So
He's just a dog. Period. That dude needs to be on offense.
All right, it's 2:45, Matt.
Thank you, Jake.
I appreciate you.
Hey, man, you see how we just stayed within the framework of time and everything.
We made it work.
This is so. I only said the fuck word like 7 times.
Someone in-
Sorry, coach. I apologize.
someone's
brother.
grandpa complained
Someone
about
in the
it.
chat
see.
put the over under at 47.5.
47 and a half. I'm way under. Look, grandmas love me, so just it's okay. And I'll come over and we'll get some pie and talk about it.
We'll be back tomorrow. Pregame show with Unk. Hopefully, we'll have some awesome guests on. See you guys then. Let's go Buffs.
Go Buffs.